What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Bubbles BuzzerBeater, your unofficial official BuzzerBeater YouTube channel. Today I wanted to do something that I haven't done on the new account since I started up again, and that is inducting someone into my Hall of Fame. So, as most of you probably know, if you're a supporter on your team homepage, you'll see that there's a Hall of Fame right here. So if you click on the Hall of Fame on your team page and have supporter, you'll see I currently have no players in the Hall of Fame, and this is my main team, not my Utopia team. But for this, you can see it says, to be eligible for election to the Hall of Fame, a player must have played in at least 44 regular season league games for your team. So generally it comes out to 2 seasons with your team, if not a little bit longer if they've sat out some games or been injured. And then it'll give you the options of players that are eligible for it. And then you can see it says you may elect 1 player to your Hall of Fame every 2 seasons you have managed your team. So I have 2 elections remaining. If you've had a team for a long time, you probably have tons and tons of player options and elections, but not just anyone can get into the Hall of Fame. So you'll see I have 3 eligible players right here. Anthony Mackie was actually a center that I had in Division 4 and last season. And he actually won MVP for me in Division 4, but he is not the one I will be inducting. And then you'll see Bruce Dow right here. He is my 21-year-old potential U21 USA player. He's fringe right now. I'm not sure if he's going to make the team, but really good player. He might make it at some point, depending on how long I'm holding on to him. But the player that we will actually look at inducting, so I can show you just how it works, is Dwight Fugate. And Dwight is actually one of the original 3 players that I got for completing the tutorial, so he's one of those star players. So I want to go ahead and add him in there. Gives you, are you sure? Just in case, can't be undone. So I'll go ahead and add him. He's a player I'm planning on keeping until he is into his 50s, 60s. I don't plan on ever getting rid of him. So I'll go ahead and add him in. And you'll see that he is now on there. So Dwight Fugate is now in the Hall of Fame, and then if you click on the player name in the Hall of Fame, you'll see that it lists his quote, which is funny. The arrows come for the apostrophe, so I'll probably look at changing that a little bit. But shows the best skill set during the time spent on team. So if you have a player that you add onto your Hall of Fame and then eventually he moves on to a different team, it'll just stay as the best skill set that he was at when you had him. Very nice player for a star player. I know some of you have some really good ones and some of you have some star players who were not great, but 11 outside defense, 9 passing, and decent other skills has worked out really well. He's just been a solid player for me. And then what I'll also do is probably retire a jersey number for him. So I'll click retire a jersey number. And number 10 is the number that he has, so I'll go ahead and retire that. I think that's the number that he's always had. It's never had a different number, so number 10 right there will never be worn by another Explosive Bubble Wrap player. And then on the career stats, you can see the different ratings, points, highlights on there for it. I will look at editing this. The reason this is don't worry, I'm a doctor is he was actually the player that I did the internal hire for. So for season 56, for just maybe, 4 or 5 weeks, I think he was a doctor, maybe a little bit longer than that, but he was actually a doctor on my team, so he was on my staff as well. And then the other cool thing is you can add career highlights. So if you click on add a career highlight, it lets you go through the different games that you've had him on, and it scrolls all the way back. You'll see a lot of Jim Alameda's janitor crew. But yeah, so lots of different games that you can pick from if you have a specific game in mind, and then you can describe it and add the highlight on there. So that's another thing I'll probably look at doing after this video, is fixing this up a little bit. But essentially then when you go back to your team's page, everyone else can view this as well. If you click on the Hall of Fame for other teams, then you can see the players who are in their Hall of Fame. And then if it says 11/24/2021 to present, That means that they're still on their team. So for simplicity's sake, I'll just click on Mediocrity's team and go to his Hall of Fame. And you'll see that he has 5 players on there. So there's a couple players who are no longer on his team. So if I click on Lee Clark, it'll load over, and then you'll see that I can actually view his skill set of when he was on the team. Played 318 career games with Mediocrity, so that's pretty cool. But if you click on a player who is presently on his team, so I'll click on Calvin Webb, then it'll still take you to the personal player page, but it won't show the best skill set because it doesn't want you to have like that access of information for players who are still on their team. And then you can see that if they are on U21 or made any national team, U21 national team games, then it will show the games for those as well. So that's the other thing I wanted to point out. But pretty cool feature. If you're a supporter, I think most of you are probably aware of it because it's right on your team page. But if you weren't, take a look at the Hall of Fame because you can get someone added on there for you. And Dwight is someone who will forever be on my Hall of Fame. So I did also want to just go over his stats a little bit and, where he ranks on my franchise all time, which obviously isn't a whole lot of seasons, but still cool to look at. So this season, obviously, we're in Division 3, and he's been struggling a bit as of late, where you can see where he's struggling to make shots, but with 10 jump shot and 6 jump range and not much inside shot, that's understandable. I don't hold it against him. If you go back to season 58, where we're also in Division 3, you'll see similar kind of stats where he's not averaging a whole lot of points or anything, where it's 4.4 points off the bench in 18 minutes, so he has a small rotation role for us. Season 57 was when we were still in Division 4, so this is going to be like the big season where he is a little bit more involved. You can see 10.7 points per game, and then also looking at the assists, looks like he had 5.5 assists per game, so 10 and 5, pretty solid. And then season 56. So for season 56, this is the first full season where he was the most involved player. He was kind of the captain, the go-to guy. So 15.2 points per game, 5 assists per game, and then a couple other things in there as well. So those are kind of the stats that you're looking at for him. And then in terms of team ratings or team rankings, if we go to the team history, you'll see that he is first for most career games by far with 110. And then he's also third, about to be in second, probably within the next 5 or 6 league games for career points. And then he is on the list for rebounds, but also most for career assists for my franchise by far. So assists and games played, and then points, he's also up there, but very, very heavily involved in my team, and I'm planning on keeping him for a long time. So just wanted to go over that. I'll have a couple more videos coming out soon, also with a Utopia update. The Utopia team is kind of getting crushed in Division 3, but that was part of the plan. The arena's coming together, so we'll go over that. But that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed just the little deep dive into the Hall of Fame, and then getting to look at Frostbite. That's his nickname that I've always given him, Dwight Frostbite Fugate. But yeah, that's what it looks like. So thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys again soon.